this engaging session, we will provide time management and personal productivity skills and tips for using Microsoft 360 apps that can help you effectively use in your class as well. The duration of this webinar is 60 minutes. And like I said, just to let you know, there are other professional development sessions that have been lined up for you, and I will drop the link in the chat box. And my name is Sarah Shudha. I'm a marketing manager at McGraw Hill, and I'm your moderator for today. So if you face any technical difficulties, or if you're having any problems, or if you have any questions, please let me know in the Q&A box. Or you can also use the chat box. With me today, I have a lovely presenter, Dr. Randy Nordell. He's joining all the way from California, and it's quite early for him. It's 7 a.m. Thank you, Randy, for being with us today. Randy is a professor of business technology at American River College, and he has experience of over 30 years in education. We are so glad that he could be with us, but not only this, Randy is the lead author of Microsoft Office 365 in Practice. Those of you might know SimNet, also Microsoft Office in Practice 2013. Sorry, I didn't get that correct. But he's done a couple of those series. Am I right, Randy?
Yes, yeah, quite a few. I think we're on the 4th edition. We started in 13, 16, 19, and now 21.
Okay. And he speaks regularly at conferences about integration of technology into the curriculum. So I'm really glad that he can share his experience about time management skills with us today. Thanks, Randy, again for being here.
Hey, my pleasure, and welcome. Yeah, it's early. I'm a morning person, so that's okay. It all works out. And anything else? Any other things you want to cover, Suresh, before we get going?
Yeah, sure. I just want to let everyone know that this session is being recorded, so you will have a copy of the recording in your inbox. You will also get a certificate of the webinar as well. Since you're attending this webinar, it will come to you in your inbox. So you'll have these two things with you. Sometimes I've heard the screen goes blank and you cannot see the presentation of the presenter. Just make sure you log out of Zoom and log back in. It's been funny these days, but if you face any technical difficulties, let me know. And we want to make this as interactive as possible, as engaging as possible. So make sure you use the chat box, interact with the presenter, ask questions. We will take them at the end. But equally, if you have any questions during the webinar, just pop it in the Q&A box, and me or Randy can cover that off. But I think that's all from my side today for Randy. I think I'll just stop sharing right now, but let me know if you need anything.
Excellent. Thank you, Suresh. Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen here and see what we can come up with. Okay, so here we go. And my name's Randy Nordell. I'm a professor at American River College in Sacramento, California, full-time faculty. I teach a whole load of classes, and I'm in the business and computer science area. So I primarily teach business and computer science. On the computer science side, I tend to teach more of the application courses. On the business side, I teach business communication and business English. Have been doing that for many, many years. Been in education for, I think, 34 years now. So anyway, and also, like Suresh said, I'm the lead author of the Office in Practice series of texts. If you're familiar with SimNet at all, or if you use SimNet, that's our digital that accompanies our textbook. It's really good for learning Excel and all the Office applications. As we move along here, if you have questions, please let me know. Let me know if there's if anything that's kind of on point as we talk about this. Let me know. We'll have a little Q&A time at the end. I'm going to have a couple little prompt questions for you as we go along. So be interactive with me. I'm from California. I like feedback. I like to interact, all of that stuff. No wrong answers. So participate with me in this as we move along here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my video just because I'm going to be looking all over. I'm going to be jumping in and out of PowerPoint quite a bit. So especially as we get into looking at some of these tools that I use to just be more effective in managing my time. So I'll be popping it in and out quite a bit. So hopefully it's not too distracting. And yeah, I just hope to present you with some things to make you more organized. And I'm going to present a whole bunch of stuff. Just try to take away a few things. Try to think of a few things of like, oh, I could apply that today, or this week. So, okay, let's get going here. I'm going to mute this and move that out of the way. And okay, let me here. Now I'm lost my Zoom controls here. Okay, we'll go ahead. All right, so here's some, I'm gonna have a couple slides of just some general time management tips. I think about, all of us we have limited hours throughout the day. So trying to be just realistic about what we can accomplish and how many hours we have. I read a book recently that talked about just time zones of being productive, and I think it's called At Your Best by Carey Nieuwhof is the name of the book. But he talked about green, yellow, and red zones. He said green zones are those most productive zones, which really most of us probably only have 3 to 4 hours a day of those really productive zones. Yellow would be the next zone. Probably not as quite as productive, but that would be another block of maybe 3 hours or so, 3 or 4 hours. And then red zone is when just kind of worn out, And so I try to think about, okay, when am I most productive? I'm a morning person. So it's 7 o'clock here. I get up at 5 and do my exercise and do a few things and do some reading. And, but my first, 3 to 4 hours in the morning tend to be my most productive. And so try to think of, set some realistic hours and think about when you're most productive. And during those most productive ones, that green zone, do those most important things. I think about work that I do on my textbook, I do during that time. I even think about feedback on my students when I'm grading some writing assignments for my students. I try to do during the green zone. So I'm most productive and not just mad at them and writing bad comments, on their feedbacks, on their stuff. So anyway, and I'll talk about some of the things I do in the yellow and red zone, but working in blocks of 60 to 75 minutes, so an hour, a little more than an hour, is helpful also because you kind of wear out fatigue. Get up, walk around, go get a cup of coffee or something, taking those regular breaks. And I even, with working remotely more, I'm not 100% remote, but I get on campus a couple days a week. But when I'm at home working, I try to get out in the middle of the day for exercise, go out for a walk, go out for a bike ride, something, and put that in. And that just depends. I mix that up as to when I do that. Depending on the time of year. In the summer, when it's hot, I tend to go out for my rides earlier. When it's more fall and winter and spring, I tend to ride more in the afternoon. So, and sticking to a schedule, I think that's really important. Is set those realistic hours. Think about when you're most productive. But stick to a schedule, and I'll talk a little bit about that in calendaring as we come up here. Eliminate, which we can't really do, but minimize distractions. Okay, silencing your phone, I think, is a big one, and doing that, which I did thankfully right before we started here. When I'm working, on some grading stuff, especially book stuff, when I'm writing and really need to concentrate, closing down everything, close down Outlook, close down Teams. Anything that's distracting, internet browser windows, any of those things, those are just good things to get rid of and minimize distraction. Focus Assist, which is in Windows, and most of our phones have that also, where you can have a focus a time. If you're not sure, I'm going to jump out here. But in Windows, the bottom right down here, and I'm in Windows 11, I'm going to ask you about that in just a bit. But there is a focus assist setting where you can just have it minimize or turn off notifications during that time. So you don't get email popping up and this and that. And if you close down your Outlook and some of those, it accomplishes the same thing. So, but few little things there on that. Let's see if we can get back to presenter mode here. Okay, so here's a couple other tips for just general time management. Calendaring. Okay, so all of us probably live a lot by our calendar and what we have in there. And I've heard it said before, talking about big rocks and little rocks. You know, if you think about if you have a jar and you have these big rocks that you're putting in and stuff, or if you're trying to fit a whole bunch of stuff, you always put the big things in first and let the other things settle in around those. So as you're setting up your calendar and doing that, think of it in big rocks and little rocks. Big rocks being those things that you have to do, your class schedules, meetings, weekly meetings that you're going to have, your office hour, things like that are set things in there. Put those in. And I always really even like to put in some of the other things, scheduling some exercise, scheduling other recreating activities to give you a break, so it's not all just work. And so putting those things on your calendar, and then letting the other things, the little rocks, fill in. So some meetings, sometimes we'll have to say no to things because we have big rocks in the place, and instead of little rocks. But those other meetings that can come in, and I just had a couple this morning where I said, hey, can you meet next week with somebody? I said, yep, these are my times that I'm blocked off, but these other times I'm wide open to meet. And so having that on your calendar makes it easier to say yes and no to things. So those little rocks that are always coming at us. So those other appointments. Review and plan. I think this really is could be one of the key tips to general time management. I tend to do this at the end of the day. I do a little bit at the beginning of the day, but I tend to do it more at the end of the day, kind of red zone where I'm kind of tired. I usually start work by 6 a.m. most mornings. I'm usually done by 3:30, 4 o'clock. I'm checking out and done. And so you guys are already past that where you are. But reviewing at the end of the day, I'll kind of look over my notes, and I'll talk about OneNote is one of my tips of using, and I make a lot of notes in OneNote. But if I had meetings or stuff, I'll make notes of that. But I kind of look over my day, figure out what I got accomplished, what I didn't get accomplished, and kind of plan for the next day. I'll kind of make a to-do list of things. Okay, I got to get this done tomorrow. I got to get this done, later this week, and just think about that. And I tend to do that kind of in my red zone when I'm kind of done. I don't need to it doesn't take a whole lot of mental energy just to go back and review some things and plan for the next day. And then the next morning, I've already reviewed and planned. The next morning, I kind of look and say, okay, this is what's on my list for today. And, if I need to add anything, I can do that. But that's something for me, that's probably been one of the things that I incorporated years ago into just the rhythm of my day, is that review and plan kind of at the end of the day before I close down Outlook, before I shut down my computer and stand up and walk away. I tend to do that review and plan. So other thing, reuse content. Okay, so try to think about, okay, when you're doing videos or something for your class, anything, I try to not make it, hey, this fall 22 semester, and tie it to a time, or I try to make it more general so I can reuse content a lot. And I do online orientations for my online classes, and they're different classes. I try to make them somewhat similar, the tasks that they have to do, all that, so I don't have to customize it so much for every single class. But reusing content, and this could be all sorts of stuff, you guys you all have some information, ideas about how to do that. I know for me, with videos and handouts, and even even weekly announcement class emails that I send out to all my classes, and sometimes a couple times a week, depending on when due dates are. I save all my old ones. They come as my email. I just go back and look and say, oh, okay, Excel chapter 3, this is my class message. I take that, copy it, change the due dates and stuff, and do that, and try to reuse that content as much as possible. So I'm not always having to recreate things. So, okay. So now those are some just general big rocks, right, of time management. So let me move on now to some of the specifics here. So, okay, this is where you get to participate. Suresh, you can shout out, if you see the stuff coming in the in chat, because I don't have chat open with my PowerPoint here. But are you currently using Windows 11 on any of your computers? And if so, do you have any favorite features? Because there are some really good, I think, time management features in Windows 11, even over Windows 10. I mean, every iteration changes a little bit, but no wrong answers here on this. Again, from California, you got to participate with me here. So even though you're halfway across the world, anybody using Windows 11, or anybody have any favorite features of Windows 11?
Yes, please let us know in the chat box if you're currently using Windows 11 on your computer. If so, what is your favorite feature? And I see there are 30 people here. So,
hey,
I see
that's good.
no. Windows 10.
Windows 10. Okay, I am monitoring chat now. Windows 10,
great.
no, my PC doesn't support it. No, most Windows 10. Well, hopefully some of these features will be available in Windows 11 also. I mean, Windows 10 as well. But I'll show you that hopefully this will make you want to transition to Windows 11 if you haven't already. And if your computer, somebody had said, my computer doesn't support the update, that's true. Some of the older laptops or even desktops don't support the update. My wife's computer does not support the update. So anyway, but I'm going to show you a few. And so as you transition to Windows 11, it is really nice. I probably like this update more than any other particular update. So, well, maybe moving from Windows 8 to Windows 10 was a big one because Windows 8 was terrible. But anyhow, so let's move on here, and we'll look at a couple of these features. Okay, so here's some Windows feature. I talked about Focus Assist. That's available. It's super easy to get to and to set that time range. Those are great. Snap Assist. Okay, Snap Assist. Most of us are probably working with multiple monitors these days, and our dual monitor tends to be a bigger monitor, and it's easy to split screen. So in the past, and with Windows 10, you could do this in Windows 10. Is the Snap Assist of snapping it to one side and then choosing what other windows for the other half or quadrant, or however you're dividing your screen. But anyway, I'll show you all this stuff. I'll just kind of walk through all these. The OneDrive sharing collaboration, really nice if you're using OneDrive. If you have a Microsoft account, you have OneDrive, cloud storage, sharing and collaboration with people, really, really nice. So File Explorer and context menus in Windows 11, they really simplified both File Explorer and context menus, streamlining it, because they just kind of got in. When I go back and work on a Windows 10 machine, I look at the File Explorer, I'm like, oh, there's just too much stuff there. And so anyway, that's really nice. It just kind of minimizing it, make it more a minimalist approach to the File Explorer and context menus. Start menu and taskbar. The other thing, just pinning apps, pinning those things that you use most regularly, so you're not having to search all that. That it just saves you time. Any little thing that can save you time, that will help. And virtual desktops, where you have multiple desktops and you can have different applications on the different desktops, kind of nice and that's been available in the past, but it's just gotten better with Windows 11. So let me jump out and show you just a few things here on Windows 11. So focus assist, we've already talked about. Snap assist. Okay, so in the past, we've been able to take a window, drag it over to the side like that, and it snaps there. Or you could even do up in the corner, it'll go quadrant, and then you can pick which other one you want to go and to fill up the other half there. With Windows 11, what they've done on every single window that's open, if you put your pointer over the restore down maximize button here, it gives you the snap assist, because the reason being is most of us use multiple monitors, and when I go to drag it over to this side, over to the right, it doesn't do anything. It just drags it to the other monitor. So it makes snap assist a little more challenging that way. And so with this, I can say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and snap that side, and I'm going to fill it with Microsoft To Do here. And there you have it. So really, really nice. Probably my favorite feature of Windows 11 is the new Snap Assist. And again, every single window that you could open, and you could do it big. And if I'm on my laptop, what you're seeing is my laptop. My second monitor is the bigger monitor. If it's a bigger monitor, you're going to have more choices. I think there are 6 or 8 different choices for you can go thirds and all sorts of things. So that's really nice. So that's Snap Assist. OneDrive and Collaboration. I live in OneDrive. I have a personal OneDrive. I have a OneDrive for my work, my college work, and I have a OneDrive for my book stuff. But everything, I live in it, because then it travels with me from computer to computer. Even on my phone, I have my OneDrive app, and I'm able to get every single file that I have in OneDrive is available to me. So the OneDrive, yeah. So sharing and collaboration, they've streamlined it. So in the past, if you're sharing from within an app, so if you're in Excel and you want to share a file, it kind of looked one way to share it. You still have to save it on OneDrive or a cloud location, but it kind of looked one way to do it. And if you're sharing it from a browser-based version of Excel, it'd look a little bit different. And then if you're sharing from a file explorer, it'd look a little different. Now it all looks the same. So if I wanted to share any of these folders, I shouldn't share the old one, but let's say this PowerPoint presentation. If I wanted to share this with you, I could easily just say, okay, let's go. Maybe because it's open here. Okay, I can easily share this, and oops. Yeah, so the sharing opens, and it's a consistent no matter where I'm at here. Let me try one of these other ones here. Interesting. Okay, so my sharing, I don't know why it's not in this presentation for some reason, because I'm in the presentation that's not allowing me to do that. But anyway, the sharing menu is consistent throughout. So so it makes it really easy to share. You get to share who has access to it and who doesn't. You get to share whether they can edit or not. Really, really nice. And it's easy to go back and find that sharing link later in there. File Explorer and context menu. So this is the File Explorer from Windows 11. You'll notice that it used to be more like a ribbon we'd see in Microsoft Office and in Excel or Word or any of those. Now it's just really just a toolbar with just a few things. Those things that you use most recently or most frequently are in here. You have a new menu where you can do all sorts of new things there, but cut, copy and paste, rename, share, do the delete, all of that are right there. So I think that's gonna, let's see if I can, let's try one of these other ones here real quickly and see if I can share. Yeah, it's coming up different. So anyhow, I think it's because I'm in a presentation here. So let me move on here. So File Explorer and context menu. Oh, context menu also. So if I right click on something, you'll notice the context menu is much more streamlined. You have your copy paste, all of this stuff down here, really nice and easy to use. And then and if you want more, there are more options. You can get back where it goes back to the old context menu. This is kind of the old one from Windows 10, but streamlined all that, which has been very nice. And then a virtual desk, start menu and taskbar, similar. Start menu is a little different in Windows 11. You don't have the tile, it's all kind of one. You can still get to your alphabetic listing of all apps this way, but I just pinned all these here, and I can have a couple pages of pinned apps that I use there. Recommended files, ones that I've opened recently are there, but I can see more as well. I can easily search and find things. So again, I think one of the key things with Windows 11, streamlining it, make it easier to find things. Things are not so cluttered, all of that, which again, saves us time, makes us more productive. And then taskbar, and any of these you can pin. So I can pin stuff down to the taskbar. The ones I use most frequently, I put down on the taskbar, and you could do this in Windows 10 as well. So that way I'm not always digging around to find things. Does Snap Assist allow more than one document to be displayed side by? Yes, so absolutely. So if I do here, I'll do something. Let me minimize a couple of these. Yeah, so I have a Word document here. So what I'll do is I'll just do a but yes, you can, and have that. I'll do an Excel document next to it there. So, but if it were two Word, I only have one Word document open. But if it were two Word documents, yes, absolutely. So Snap Assist is beautiful. And again, know that you could do this on Windows 10. So if you weren't familiar with it before, you can do this. All you have to do is take it and just drag it to the left hand side, and then it opens up and lets you choose the file for the other. So Snap Assist is available in Windows 10. It's just more of a manual one, where Windows 11 has this Snap Assist here on every single window that's open, and which makes it really nice to get to.
Randy, question.
Yeah.
So there was a question, does Snap Assist allow more than one document to be displayed side by side? For example, two Word files.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I just showed there, because I saw that pop up on chat. So yes, you can put two Word documents right next to each other if you wanted to.
Thanks.
Yeah, you betcha. Okay, so let's jump back here and then, okay, so virtual desktops, again, this is task view, which you have on Windows 11 is task view. And it's going to show all the different, oops, I think I got on the wrong. So task view is going to show all the different tasks that are available, all the different windows that are open. And you could do a 3-finger swipe up if you have a touchpad on your laptop, or you can click the task view button here. But then also you can make new desktops. So I could have a desktop here. I have a Randy's work and a Randy's book stuff. I can move any of these windows. Okay, so if I wanted to move my Spotify over there, I could easily do that and just move it to a different desktop. And that way you have different things open on different desktop, which keeps your desktop a little less cluttered, keeps it easier to find things, again, making you a little more efficient in your time. So I'll jump back here, but that's, virtual desktops and task view. I could close applications from up here. I can move things around. I can move them to different desktops. It's kind of nice. And then just press escape to get out of there. So Windows 11, that's one thing. Okay, so Office 365. So I'll give you a few little time-saving tips that I use for 365. Okay, the biggest one I think is signatures in Outlook. Probably one of the most underused time-saving features that's out there. And so signature, most of us use signatures in Outlook where, it'll put your name and your college and your title and all that stuff at the end of an email. If you want to do it automatically or insert it manually, you can do that. But signatures in Outlook, can be used for way more than that. I use signatures in Outlook for all sorts of common type questions. So anytime I get a question from students, colleagues, whatever, that is kind of a similar question where I'm going to have a similar response, what I'll do is I'll just make a signature out of it and then just dump that into the email, reply with that signature. And so, so there's a couple things in Outlook. So signatures and quick steps, those are things, pinning commonly used files in an application. I'll talk about that, but let me show you the couple in Outlook first of all. So in Outlook, I have, if I go to a new email here, and if I go to my signatures, you'll see I have a lot of, these are all signatures here. So if a student asks about, or if a colleague, let's say one of you email me and say, hey, do you have any resources for your office in practice text? Say, oh yeah, I do. I can just do that, dump that in there. And I usually put, hey, name at the top here. And so then I can put in whoever's name here and make it all look personal, all that. I have all this information. Here's this information. Here's this. It's all in there ready to go. So I talked about at the beginning, one of the key things is reusing content. This is a huge one. This is a huge time saver for me, especially at the beginning of semester when students are asking me similar type questions. I probably do use these signatures dozens of times a week, and responses to common questions about, hey, how do I install Office 365 apps? I have a whole email on here with screenshots and everything of how to do that. So I don't have to type it out, proofread it, make sure it looks good, or I don't have to go to my sent items and try to find one I sent recently. What I do on the signatures is just, if I start to get the same question asked, I will just go and find a response that I had, customize that just to make sure it's nice and clean, save it as a signature, and then use it. But again, one of the most underused features in Outlook is signatures. So many people think, oh, it's only for name and stuff. No, whole emails can be put in a signature. So think about ways that you can use that. Think about times that you've had common responses to students, colleagues, whatever, coworkers, and how you could use signatures to save time. And again, I think this probably is one of the things that probably saves me more time than anything all week are the signatures I use. And there's rarely a day that goes by that I don't use one of those signatures in there. Even my Zoom meetings, I keep my Zoom link so I don't have to go figure out, okay, what was my Zoom link again? I just stick it in there. So when I have a quick meeting with a student, I can dump my Zoom link in there and send it to them and do it that way. I don't have to open Zoom and then go figure out what mine is and all that. So, so yes, this is like one of my favorite things. Second one in Outlook is what are called quick steps. So, and these are all available in whatever version of Outlook you're using, it's available. I think these have been around since 2013 or 2016, but quick steps just automate things. So I can, and there's all sorts of things. You can have it, like this one. I use the completed one a lot because I flag things. I'll flag things like, hey, okay, I got to take care of this email from Reza here. And so I'll flag things just so they highlight in my inbox and I can see it. When I'm done with it, rather than having to right click and take off the flag, all that, I have a completed one that will clear out any categories, any flags, and just mark it as complete in there. So that makes it. And so quick steps just let you do multiple steps. So I have some that will actually provide a message. So if I have a email here from, let's say from Reza here, I'll click on that. And what it does is it actually makes a reply to that message. So this quick step has multiple actions. So it'll reply to that message and then puts in a message for me in here. And then all I have to do is just say, Reza, type the person's name there. And it looks like this nice custom message from me, kind of like my signatures, but it's already done. And it's just one click. So so explore the quick steps. I'll show you real quickly on those is how to do this. There's a whole bunch of new moving it to a folder, categorizing and move, but you can do all sorts of things. So if I manage and do a new one here, here's one to my biz tech one of my classes. And so it moves it to a folder, it replies, it puts in a message here. Hey, I received your sharing link, all of that, all these things all in one click. So moving it to a folder, I can categorize and flag it if I want, all sorts of things, and it gives a message. All I have to do is hit send. So quick steps are really useful also. So think of signatures and quick steps and how you might be able to use those. So those are two Outlook ones that are huge. Pinning commonly used files. Okay, this one's a good one. I'll open up Word here just because I have quite a few pinned in Word. In the backstage view in Word, you're going to have when you go to these files here, what the recent ones here. And it may look a little different depending on which version you have, but they're all there. But there's a little pin here. And so what I do, rather than having to go, the ones that I use a lot, I have the assignment responses, I have my video lists of the different videos, my grammar tip of the week that I use for my business English and business communication class. But I have it right here that I can just open this up and it will open that file up, and I don't have to go dig around in a file explorer. Where did I save that last? When did I last use it? So it may not be in my, I may not have used it for a little bit. In that pinned area, and you could do this in Excel. I do this in Excel. I do it primarily in Word and Excel, but you could do it also in PowerPoint. But that pinned area is really nice. And again, saves me time. I don't have to dig around a whole bunch to do that. Here's just a couple fun features. Now, I don't know that these are going to save you a huge amount of time, but they are kind of fun. Actually, Microsoft Search will. I'll jump to that. I'll do that one first since I'm right here. But Microsoft has unified its search. It's gone from so many different things over each iteration and each edition. But they used to be Tell Me, and that was the last edition. Now they've gone to this unified search, and really nice. I probably use it in Outlook more than anything if I'm looking up an email or whatever, but there's just a unified search that you could search for items, you can search for features, you can search for whatever you want. Really nice. Use that all the time. And, I can type in from somebody, I can type in, if I'm in Word here and I want to type in, there's a search there as well. Yeah, but search is pretty much anywhere. If I want to type in a feature like citations, there's creating a source. So all that will come up as well. So very nice. This Analyze Data in Designer. This actually could save you some time as well, because Analyze Data is in Excel, Designer's in PowerPoint. This started in PowerPoint, and it's basically taking what you have existing and giving you ideas about how to make it better, make it look a little better. So let me give you I'll show you a couple examples. I'm going to jump to my end slide here. Has my contact information. I'll put this up at the end. And I'm sure Suresh will share all this with you as well. But if I click Designer, what it's going to do is take the content on this slide and give me some ideas about how to maybe make that look better. So let's make that a little bigger. Okay, now my mouse just froze up. Okay, my designer pane is not. Okay, let me try something here. There we go. Okay, so back to here. Let's do this. Okay, so now what it does is it take what's existing on that slide and just give me some ideas about how to present it in a different way. So that's in PowerPoint. So if you wanted to, mix things up a little bit, it does give you some different ideas. Also in Excel. So I think this is really powerful in Excel. It's called Analyze Data. They've had different names for it. I think in the 2019 version, it might have been ideas or design ideas, something like that. But what you could do is you could take any data that you have on any worksheet. So I just have some data selected here on this worksheet. I can choose analyze data, and what it's going to do is just give me a bunch of different ways to display that. So whether it's a pivot table, pivot and a chart here, another chart, so all sorts of different, and you see 28 different ideas of how to display that data. So sometimes it's in a table, but really nice. So if you're looking to do that, so it can take a little more time just to know to use it, but it will help you out so you don't have to do all the designing. It just gives you some ideas. So I think that's these are fun features in PowerPoint and Excel. And they're also coming in Word. So right now it's available in Word Online on the browser-based version of Word, not in the desktop version yet. So, but it will be coming. So Microsoft, in kind of one of their new rhythms or cadences, is some of these new features they'll roll out in the browser-based version of Office, of Excel or Word or PowerPoint first, test it out, see how it works, and then they'll put it in the desktop version of Office. Okay, let's keep going here so I don't run out of time, and I want to give you all a little time to ask some questions. So some other ones. So Editor, okay, Editor's a feature, a Microsoft feature used to compete with Grammarly. I don't know if you've used Grammarly or know of Grammarly, but it's just a grammar checker, spell check, all of that stuff. But Editor is in Word now, and it's very robust. It's big. It's really, really good. If I go to one of these, let me pull up one of these here, and I go to my editor. This is Editor up here. It's going to kind of give me a score on how I've done. And then it breaks it down into spelling and grammar. I have quite a few things I could fix here, and it'll give me suggestions for fixing it. Really nice. That's within the Office applications. The reason I put it here for a time-saving tip is you can add this to let me pull something over here, pull over my Canvas page. You could add this as an extension to your browser. So whichever browser you're using, you could go in and add Editor as an extension. And then as I'm typing messages to my students in Canvas, which is the LMS that we use for our courses, it will correct and make suggestions for that. So no, and it's not only in Windows 11. This can be in any of them. So it's just because it's a browser-based extension, it doesn't matter. And I know for sure it works with Chrome because that's what I use. I know for sure it works with Edge because that's a Microsoft product. The other browsers, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure like Safari, it does work with. I need to check that. I think I have it on my Mac also, but yeah, really nice. I would install the Editor browser. It comes in the Microsoft Office products, but and for as far as the new one, it's in the newest Microsoft 365 version. The Editor is. If you have an older version of Office like 2019, it'll still be the spell and grammar check. Same backbone to it, it does essentially the same thing. Editor is just a little more robust, and it does. The other thing is without a right click, if you just do a regular click, it will give you suggestions here. So that's kind of nice. So Editor in the browser, that's a good time saver. To do OneNote Team and PowerToys. Okay, so these are kind of the last few things I'll cover. To do, one of my very favorites. So in the past, Microsoft Outlook. Let me open up Outlook here. Dismiss. I got my office hour coming up in 15 minutes, so I'll make sure I'm done and ready for that. But in the past, there's been tasks in Outlook, kind of clunky, kind of old. They've been around forever. What Microsoft did is they took that concept and made a separate app called To Do. And this is my To Do app. And it's basically a task app. And it's really good. It's really clean, visually appealing, easy to use. You can install it from the Microsoft Store. I believe you can install it on a Mac also. I install it on my phone as well. So, and I probably add things to my task list on my phone more than anything else because I'm out and about and I think, oh, I got to go do this, or I got to email Kristen about this, and so I'll just add it to my task. And what this does is this is tied in to your Microsoft account also, and your Outlook, where if I flag a message in Outlook, so here's my to-do, they've just upgraded. If you have an older version of Outlook, you may still have the old tasks, but it's still connected. So this is my to-do, my tasks and to-do. But if I go and I flag a message in here, let's have a draft to Reza. Let's get rid of that. But let's say I flag this message here to Reza. What that's going to do is that's going to flag it, and that's going to put it as a task in my to-do. So it should show up there. It may take a second, but it will show up on my, let's see if I have flagged email. Yeah, so here's flagged email that I have that will show up when I flag, and show up in my to-do list when I flag an email. So that's kind of nice. I use flags regularly in there, and it shows up. So to-do, really nice, easy to use. So here's the flagged one that I just put in there, and they misspelled my last name, whoever that was there, but oh well. And then as I finish them, I could just check them off and click on that. It does it, and I have all sorts of things, you know, in my emails here, and different categories. So these are just flagged emails that I flagged along the way that I need to deal with. These are my tasks that I have here, which is kind of just the main task here. This is I can add things to my day, or star them to make them important, or right click and say add to my day, and that way it just kind of puts it in your daily list. But to-do is awesome. One of my favorite, over the last couple of years, probably one of my favorite new things that Microsoft has come up with. OneNote is, hopefully you're using OneNote. OneNote, I live in OneNote, kind of like I live in OneDrive, and but just tons of them. I mean, I just keep everything in OneNote. When I have meetings with universities or whatever, I'll make notes after the meetings. This is kind of one of those things that I do at the end, that review and plan at the end of the day. Sometimes I'll have some just written notes. I'll go back into my OneNote, type them up just so I have them here. But I have information, you know, every time I think about, you know, new feature, or hear new features in Office, I'll put some stuff in. I got tons of new things for the next edition of Excel already in here, and just different webinars coming up that I have. I'll make some notes on that. But I live in OneNote. Pretty much my whole life is in OneNote here, and so use OneNote. I think it's a huge time, because this way, the reason I like it is I can put this stuff in a document somewhere about Bryant University, and it would take me, I'd have to go search and find it. I don't know where it is. In OneNote, it's everything. Hey, I know it's in my outreach area. And you could have different books. This is my McGraw Hill OneNote book, but I also have one for ARC, which is my college. And I have all that there, all my tech support. I know right where to go if the student asks about that. I have one personal one. I have one for our author team. I have one for a grant team that I'm on. And but yeah, I live in OneNote. Okay. Oh gosh, I got to get going here. I'm running out of time. Teams, we've used Teams. Use Teams. Teams is great, especially if you have like some teams that they're just put together for a time that you're doing. I'm on a grant team, and we have a common spot to, you know, I put notes in there as to what's coming up. This was some notes from our last meeting that I stuck in there in OneNote in Teams, which is really nice. But we have place for files and posts of upcoming meetings and all that stuff. One last thing, Power Toys. Okay, so this will be a final thing. Power Toys is this incubator, Microsoft incubator. So you have to go find it in the Microsoft store and install it. But what it is, it has these fun little, see if it'll come up here. I think it's this one. See if that'll come up here. But Power Toys is this incubator of features that you know, some of it, There's some different ones. I haven't really played around with it all that much, but there's all sorts of different features about, hey, keeping a window always on top and awake and all these different things that you could add. Here's my favorite, okay, and I'm going to leave you with this one. Is in Power Toys, there's a mouse feature. So a lot of times, especially with multiple monitors, I lose my mouse. You know, I'm going and I'm just wiggling I can't find where my mouse is. If I double tap the control key, it highlights where my mouse is. Super awesome. This is a time saver. Saves me from getting frustrated and wiggling my mouse around. But this is part of Power Toys. And it'll probably be a feature in just the Windows setting at some point. But this Power Toys is kind of an incubator of new features, and I love this feature of locating my mouse. So that's all part of Power Toys. And one quick question for you here before we move on, and just any other general questions. Hey, are there any of these things that I covered today, 2 or 3, one thing even, that you feel like you're going to implement this week or today? Anything that I've covered today that was helpful, that you think, okay, this will help me save some time?
I think, Randy, you shared some great tips and tricks, to be honest. Like, a lot of it was like, oh, wow, I didn't know this.
Signatures, definitely. Signature, that's always a highlight. I always kind of put that in the middle. So if I do that at the beginning, everybody else is creating signatures the rest of the hour and not listening to me. So I tend to put that one in the in there in the beginning. And I'll turn my
There's
video.
a question that has come in, Randy.
Can
you repeat, please? How do you create the white circular spot in PPT?
Oh, in that one there, like that?
I think yes.
Yeah, that is in what's called Power Toys. So when you open up the Power Toys, this, you have to install it from the Microsoft Store, but it's under Mouse Utilities. So in the Mouse Utilities, it's called Enable Find My Mouse, and that's it. And you turn it on. And I think actually when you install Power Toys, I think it's on by default. And so then you get that double tap of the control key and it shows that. So really nice Power Toys.
And how do you download the Power Toys, Randy?
It's from the Microsoft Store. So if you go to the Microsoft Store and just type in Power Toys, it will come up. And just make sure it's the Microsoft product that's there. And you can also get it from a browser as well. So
okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much for clarifying that.
Yeah, you bet. And I'm going to turn my video back on so I could see you and say hi. Any other questions? Anything that I can answer? Anything that I may have gone over too quickly, or any other?
Yes, please let us know. This is your time. You can ask us questions. And as Randy said, no question or answer is the wrong one. So let us know.
And that's correct. Yeah, I'm gonna do this and just put that there so you can have that information, and feel free to reach out and contact me. I do have a LinkedIn account. I have our Office in Practice. That's our website for our book. I do have I have a Randy's Office YouTube page where I just have some fun little videos here and there, and anyway, so you can subscribe.
I have seen that, Randy, and I quite like them.
Oh yeah, the Randy's Office is kind of fun. I do those occasionally. I started doing them for my students, just if they had questions about different things. And yeah, can't live without Snap Assist. Love it. I tell you that the new Snap Assist on Windows 11 was one of my favorites. So are all these features only available in the latest edition? No, there's really only a couple. The things that were in the latest edition of, let's say, Office or Windows. That's a really good question. So of Windows, Snap Assist is available if just manually dragging it to the left-hand side and it'll snap, or up in a corner and it'll snap. Let me hear. I'll this part of it where you put your pointer on the restore down maximize button. This is Windows 11. Other things that are Windows 11 would be just the new File Explorer, cleaning up of the File Explorer, as far as Office, the things that I showed you in Outlook, the signatures and quick steps, those are available in any version, doesn't matter what operating system or version of Office you're using. Editor is in the newest 365. If you're using like a standalone, a numbered version, Office 2019, Editor's not available in there, but it's still available for your browser. So, but most of the things that I talked about today are available in whichever version you're using. Let me kind of get back through. Yeah, most of these things, start menu, pinning apps, all of that stuff, even pinning apps in an application, that's all available. Analyze Data and Designer are in the most recent version of Office 365, same with Search. But yeah, most of these time-saving tips, any of these are all outside To Do and OneNote are all, they're Windows applications. So it doesn't matter which version of Windows you're using. So yeah, good question. Anything else? I hope today was helpful. I hope you learned a few little, even if you take away one or two things, the signatures thing, that's worth the price of admission right there.
No, I agree, Randy. I think a lot of it was very helpful. Thank you. Yes, love them all, Fatma says.
How to save an email as a signature? Oh, that's a good question. That was a question there. I'll show you real quick. So let's say I wanted to do that, and let's say I'll just go to one of my sent items response here. Let's say, okay, here's a message to a student. Let's say I wanted to save this as a signature. All I have to do is take that text and copy it. And I could even, I can do whatever I want. I could have pictures in there, but if I go to copy, and then if I usually do it from a new email just because it's easier. And signature down at the very bottom is the signatures dialog box. And then at that point, I can just say, hey, I want a new signature. And name this signature. I'm going to just call it a signature for today. Okay, a signature. That way I can find it, delete it. And just paste it in here and save it. And that's it. I mean, it's really, really simple. These are your one thing that's kind of quirky about Outlook is when you create a new one, it puts it as your default signature. So to change it back to, I usually change mine to none. I put none as my default signature and then insert them in there. But that's it. Yeah, just doing it like that to delete a signature. Any other questions while we're here? And we're right at 8 o'clock, so I guess I should let everybody leave here. And but Suresh, thank you, all of you who took time out of the end of your day in your red zone probably to do this, participate in this presentation. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Randy, for your time as well. It was really helpful, to be honest. And everyone is saying thanks a lot. Where can I find the recording? You will get it in your email. I think you should have it by tomorrow, hopefully. And also, I've just dropped a link to the other professional development workshops that McGraw Hill is running. So the next one is actually next week. And it's on the 3rd or the 5th. You could attend either. It's about improving the quality of the university student curriculum. If you're interested, sign up for that. And until then, we'll see you next week. Randy, have a wonderful day. And thank you so much for your time. We appreciate everything that you shared.
My pleasure. Thank you, Suresh. And thank you all for joining.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your evening. Bye.